Hey guys, it is Zach, and this is my August book haul. And yeah, I'm not holding up this August book haul because it's 19 books long. So like I said, I have 19 books to show you, and that's not even counting the 10 books I unboxed in my birthday book outlet unboxing, which you can watch here. So yeah, let's get into this. So the first 3 books I have are all part of the same series, and that is the Vampire Wish series by Michelle Maddow. I have the Vampire Wish, the Vampire Prince, and the Vampire Trick. And I actually really like these books. They are like Vampire Diaries meets Aladdin, and while in the first book the Aladdin aspects are a bit heavy-handed, it's still a really addicting and enjoyable story. And while in the second book it feels a lot like filler without actually being filler because there's a lot of world-building things introduced, again, it's still a really addicting and enjoyable story. I haven't gotten around to the third book, but I will be doing so this month. Actually, once I finish these videos and edit them, I'm getting straight into this book. But yeah, really, really, really good books so far. And I will leave review and Goodreads links for all of these books down in the description box below, so be sure to check those out. So back in March, Scholastic sent me their fall 2017 catalog and said pick some books and we'll see about getting them to you. And they sent me a good chunk of the books that I requested this month, so just gonna kind of try and go through them as quickly as possible. The first one I have is The Silver Mask, the 4th book in the Magisterium series by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. I know there's a lot of people that don't really like this series because they see it as a Harry Potter ripoff, and I understand where you are coming from, but for me, after rereading The Iron Trial, moving on to The Copper Gauntlet, I don't view it as a Harry Potter ripoff anymore. In fact, I never fully did. There are a lot of tropes shared between the Harry Potter series and this series, but the way this series subverts some of those tropes, I think, sets it apart from Harry Potter in a way that I wouldn't call it a ripoff. Then I have All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. I've heard kind of mixed things about this book, but I'm still actually kind of looking forward to this book because the plot does sound really interesting. It's about this Hispanic family in Colorado who are known to perform miracles, but there may be more to those miracles than everybody seems to think, which sounds very Maggie Stiefvater in terms of tone to me. Next, I have Mean Girls, a novel by Mikkel Osto, and this is based on the screenplay from Tina Fey, who, you know, Mean Girls is a cult classic. I feel like everybody knows what Mean Girls is, and I pretty much got this book just to see if it's better than the movie, pretty much. But yeah, I'm actually pretty excited for this one. And then, finally, Scholastic sent me Horizon Dead Zone by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This is the 2nd book in Scholastic's newest multi-platform series, which is about a group of teens whose plane crash lands somewhere over the Atlantic, or so they think. But when they leave their plane, they're in this like dense jungle and there's something hunting them. And so, since I didn't have the first book, but they sent me the 2nd book, which I requested because it's Jennifer A. Nielsen, I decided to go and get the first book, Horizon, and I'm really looking forward to reading this series. I haven't had the best track record with multi-platform series, but this one seems a bit more YA, so it might be more up my alley. Then I have The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco, and this is about a girl who discovers she's a necromancer, and honestly, I didn't read much of the inside flap. It's purple, it's got this gold embossing, and the tagline is, "Let me be clear, I never intended to raise my brother from the grave," which hooked me immediately. I am saving this for October because it's such a spooky read. Or at least it sounds like it is. Sorry, I don't know if it is. It sounds like it's such a spooky read. But yeah. Also, it's purple. And then, since it was my birthday month, I bought a fair share of owl crates and a lit cube, which you might see that lit cube unboxing, you might not. It depends on how well the editing goes for that. But one of the first, actually not one of the first, I bought this owl crate after I got the August owl crate, and that is Eliza and Her Monsters, which came in the May Comic Explosion owl crate. And this is a very popular book about a girl who has this really big webcomic, but she also suffers from anxiety, and there's this new guy that moves to her school who's like the #1 fan fiction writer for her comic, and they start a friendship, and she knows who he is, but he doesn't know who she is, and it's dealing with anxiety and secrets and all this kind of stuff that sounds really interesting. It sounds kind of like Fangirl, which I loved, so I am hoping to read and enjoy this, but I don't know when I'm going to get around to it. Then the August box came with 2 books. The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is about a girl named Dee who has kind of a troubling family life, and so she makes a deal with a demon, which is apparently fairly common in this world. She gives her heart so that he can help save her from this problematic family life, and so she becomes heartless, and she starts working alongside other heartless teens, and meets a boy, and it's supposed to be about like love conquering all and all this stuff. So I've heard not really anything about it. I've heard, from the Owl Crate people that they like this book, but of course they do because they put it in this box. So yeah, I'm interested to see how I'm going to enjoy this, but I don't know when I'm going to get around to it. Also inside was Sleepy Hollow and Other Tales by Washington Irving from Rock Paper Books, and this is an exclusive Owl Crate cover, and it's got Sleepy Hollow, Rip Van Winkle, The Spectre Bridegroom, The Devil and Tom Walker, The Pride of the Village, and Old Christmas. And I am saving this for October because this is going to be the perfect, between books, spooky reads. I'll read, Sleepy Hollow when I'm between 2 books, and then I'll read Rip Van Winkle between 2 books, and it's going to be amazing. But, yeah, and this cover is just amazing. And finally, for Owl Crate books, I have The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which came in the July Wanderlust box. And this is about a young man named Monty who is about to take his grand European tour with his sister and his best friend Percy, who he may or may not be in love with. And it's supposed to be really funny and heartwarming, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book, and this exclusive cover is just beautiful. I love the orange and the blue. My favorite color combination is orange and blue, so yes. And then when Book 2-a-thon was happening, they had a book depository coupon to use, and so I used that to get Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This came on the 1st or 2nd of August or something, so it came real early in the month, so I've just had this on my shelf staring at me for a month, and it was the most wonderful month ever because this book is gorgeous. I've not seen a video or a picture yet that has done this cover justice. I'm not the type of person that would put a book on my shelf like that, but with this book, I would put a book on my shelf like that for this book because it's so pretty. But yeah, this is about a boy named Laszlo Strange, and he has been dreaming about this lost city named Weep, and nobody remembers Weep, but for some reason there's a group of people out searching for Weep, and he joins their party, and there's gods and goddesses, and it just, if this is anything like Daughter of Smoke and Bone, I know I'm going to love this book. So I'm really excited to get to it. I'm going to try to get to it in September, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'm going to try though. And then from Inkshares Publishing, I was sent Sparked by Helena Eklund and Milena Watros. And all I really know about this is that it is a thriller novel set in Oregon. It may have, yeah, it seems to have some paranormal element of it. There's talk of a dark prophecy in the synopsis, but I'm on the blog tour for this. I will put when this review is going up somewhere on the screen so that you can see, but it sounds really interesting and this book is beautiful and I'm really looking forward to getting to this. I love thrillers and I'm reading in October, so it's perfect for that month. Then in my Lit Cube box, I got Curiouser and Curiouser by Melanie Karsak, and this is one of the books in her steampunk fairy tale series. And I thought it was an Alice in Wonderland retelling, but it seems like it takes place in a world where Alice in Wonderland has already happened. I'm not sure. I read this synopsis on the back, and it honestly feels like this is the second book in a series. It honestly feels like I should know what has already happened before this book, but it doesn't seem like I do, so I don't know. So, Merit Press sent me Light Years by Emily Ziff Griffin, and this is about a girl who wants to win, like, this coding scholarship, but then, and she has, like, a rare disorder that puts all of her senses into overdrive, but then there's a virus that, like, wipes out a bunch of people, and other people are put into quarantine, and it sounds weird. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get around to reading this book, and I don't know when it comes out, but I'm thankful to the publisher for sending it to me, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get around to this book because it's not necessarily something that I would immediately pick up upon reading the synopsis. Then author D.E. Knight sent me The Crowns of Croswald, I believe this is her debut novel, and this is a YA fantasy book about a girl named Ivy who lives in a very Stardust by Neil Gaiman type world. Like, there's one side of a wall that's normal, the other side's magical, and she crosses this wall, and that's kind of where the similarities with Stardust end, because then she goes to this school called the Halls of Ivy, where she learns to control these new powers that she has. But her magic and her life is threatened by the Dark Queen. She scrambles to unearth her history and save Croswald before the truth is swept away forever. It sounds really interesting. The cover is beautiful, and if you've seen that glowing blue bottle up there, that's what this is. That is from this. The author sent me a box to unbox, which I think I'll have up at the end of the week when the review for this should be coming out as well. So be on the lookout for that, but yeah, I can't wait to read this book. And then I went to the Dire King signing for the Dire King, William Ritter's new book, and while I was there I picked up a couple of books because it was at Powell's, my favorite independent used bookstore, and yeah, I got some books that I've been meaning to get to for a while now. The first book is Three Dark Crowns. Why did I say Crown of Three? That's a different book entirely. Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. This is about triplets who are born in every generation. To be queen, they have to kill their two sisters. One is a naturalist, control plants and things like that. Another one is an elementalist, fire, water, earth, etc. And the final one is a poisoner. And yeah, I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book, and this is definitely an October book if I ever saw one. And finally, I have And I Darken by Kiersten White. I believe this is just historical fiction. I don't think there's any magic in it, and this is an alternative history where Vlad the Impaler was actually a woman, and so not only does she have to deal with like all the shit that Vlad the Impaler had to deal with, but she also has to deal with being a woman in a time period that wasn't exactly nice to women. So I am really looking forward to this. Again, this is another one that I've heard really nothing but good things about. So yeah. I'm gonna see if I can pick up all these books. If I can't and they fall, it's your fault. Oh. I did it! Alright, let's see if I can pick them up. Up. Are they all in frame? I think they're all in frame. I'm scared. Alright, that is my August book haul. I will see you tomorrow for my September TBR. As always, have a great day and happy reading. Bye!